Lining out here.
How's he doing?
He's doing really good. We take him back Friday to find out if he gets his final clearance. But man, he was on a bunch of drugs, and it only cost $20,000 to find all this out.
Wow. Are we live?
And we're live now. And here I'm going to give you the intro. We actually have an intro. Woo. Well, it's the one I was planning on using anyway.
We're live? Kinda?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Turn your stereo down.
I know our audience is expecting this polished show. You know, this.
My Star Trek intro.
I'm not getting any sound out of that.
My Star Trek. Going through here. Whee!
Billy, you been doing all right, young man? Can y'all hear me?
It slams on the brakes, right? Hello, folks, and everybody in the chat, and welcome. And it's the drone therapy, and I'm totally unprepared because I took another nap right before the show started. I don't know what the hell it was. I'm going over there. Hello, folks. As you can see, I'm rolling through the chat here real quick. Let me go back up here real quick. I can see Covaction said he was baking a cake. We got 107 drones. Andrew, drone shots. Itchy sack. There's powder for that now, partner. Lake Pilot.
Thank you, Bob.
Baby. No, take him. Hang on. Go ahead. I don't care. I don't even hear crying.
A momentary delay in the show here. I hope everybody's doing okay.
My wife didn't want to hear the dog crying, so she let him in here. I was like, he was crying because I didn't want him in here.
Run all over the room.
But anyway, sorry.
Hey, Bill, I don't mean to interrupt you, but how did Sparky ever make out?
That's what we were just talking about. He went back and forth for about 3 weeks. And then this last time we brought him home, he's been home now for 5, almost 6 weeks. So it'll be 6 weeks tomorrow, actually. And then we take him back Friday. They check him one more time. And then if everything's okay, he can resume normal activity. But now we know Sparky's an older dog and he shouldn't be because he's a wiener dog. He shouldn't be jumping up and down as much. So we got a ramp and we've got like stairs going to all the couches and stuff now, and he still doesn't.
Yeah. Sparky's in about the same condition.
He's like, oh wow, that's something I might consider peeing on later, but I'm not going to walk up it. You know, you know. He's just like, I'm cool, man. And he's like, you know, because we're like, he doesn't understand because I'll pick him up and I'll take him all the way down the stairs and I'll let him go outside to tinkle and stuff like that. And he was like standing at the door, like, you know, you normally let me run down.
That's called living a good life, Bill.
He's like, but he doesn't like that. He wants me to turn him loose, man, and let him run down the steps. I'm trying to say hi to all these people. And look, I was talking to people, and then I was talking to Sam, and we got Stephen Drones and Leonard Oglesby and Lake Pilot and Grumpy Vlogger and Andrew and Charles Hatmaker. I'm trying to make sure I'm catching people. Gene Fox, good to see you, sir. Glad to have you in the house. Johnny Drone Flyer.
You get Flying Fin Media.
Flying Flynn Media is here somewhere. Arco Drone Solutions. I can see you, Charles Galuski, Lee McCready. Glad to have you, sir.
Eat More Possum. Nutty is there.
Akira Show. Eat More Possum. Droning Western Australia. Angel's here. Angel is checking out a venue, so he may not be with us, or he may be live. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But if your if your fiance says she will neuter you if you go live, we understand. Drone Nation, Northside Hall, Dave Lorenzo, The View Chaser, 4 States Aerial Photography, Mike B, The Drone Ranger, Mr. Squishy,
Squishy, what up, man?
Matty's Drone World, good to have you, sir. Keep going. Let's see. I'm trying to get up here to where we can actually do the show now. Oh, and look at this. Please subscribe to this. I wouldn't. It's like an every time thing now.
I still got to work on getting more videos up there.
If there's anybody I've missed, I'm trying to see. And then there's Mr. Kyle.
What's up?
Steve
What's up?
Carpenter's here. Glad to have you, sir. Good to see you, buddy. No. Hey, Ed, what's up, Ed? You said you might drop in. Good to see you, Ed. Alex Escardo. Very good to have you here, sir. And we got USA Drone Flyer Captain Joe America. Glad to have you, sir. Okay. I think I'm caught up now. All right. So, as we know, we got Billy here. Billy's in the center square tonight.
Yeah, put me on the spotlight. What is up with this?
He's not the secret square, but he's the center square. Well, the thing that it was really cool because it was just a spur of the moment thing that let's just talk about it right off the bat. Tell us about Falcon Heavy and what hit you? What hit you? Just what put a burr up your butt and said, "Boom, go right now."
Well, so first of all, they always seem to like announce these launches super last minute. By the way, I'm also drinking Fiji water, so.
The bomb, man. It's the bomb.
So, I've always wanted to photograph or at least see one of these rocket launches. And I just continue to watch the Falcon 9 get launched like over and over and over again. It almost comes like routine to see that rocket get launched and land, which is awesome. So I saw that Falcon Heavy was launching, and it was like a classified mission for the Space Force. So they literally announced it like the day before. They were like, "Hey, we have a launch going tomorrow," and then it got pushed back. But I always wanted to photograph Falcon Heavy, and it was like the perfect storm because I didn't have anything crazy going on this weekend. I was like, I think I can make it work.
That is so cool, though. And then, I noticed there's a couple of pictures like you're like paused out of it, man.
Yeah, my buddy was sleeping. He was slumped.
I don't know, but he's kind of like your Tonto, man, because you've had a lot of adventures with him, and you've had a lot of adventures. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's been in some of my videos like ever since like back in 2016. Like, so he's been in a couple of other videos as well. So it was, I was kind of trying to think about like who was crazy that I could like message and be like, "Hey, you want to leave for Florida right now?"
I need a co-pilot just to make sure I show up in one piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Any questions, guys? Any questions y'all have? Let me have them. To ask Billy some stuff, guys.
I'm proud you went, Billy. I had 30 plus years to go watch the space shuttle. I never took advantage of it. So good for you.
Yeah, it's something that I always see, and it's like so fascinating, especially now that the rockets like actually come down and land. So it's almost like there's more to see. It's not just the launch. You go, "Oh, that was cool," and turn around and leave. It's like once you see the launch, you can actually hang around and then see them come back down to Earth, and that's like probably even cooler than seeing the actual launch.
Yeah, you get to feel the booms when they come in, and
yes,
yeah,
you're kind of sitting there, you're waiting for it, and then it hits. You're like, "Yeah," and then okay, it's all done.
They test those motors over here in McGregor, Texas, so about 2 hours from me. So my son's been there in McGregor when they lit off. They get a big 24-hour notice, and then they let everybody know that they're fixing to do it. Then they do it, and you can hear it for a mile.
Yeah, yep. That's the one down in Boca Chica, right?
No, McGregor, Waco.
Okay.
South of Dallas, about an hour and a half.
Gotcha.
Huh.
Yeah, Boca Chica now, that's a whole different animal. That's in my
Yeah.
backyard, and I may have to roll down there myself.
They have the Starship fully stacked, and like you can go down there and fly your drone. Like there's no airspace restrictions or anything.
You can nearly pull up to the spaceship.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
There's people on Facebook all the time with Heavy right behind their shoulder.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Anyway, congratulations on making the trip.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
He's talking about Falcon Heavy. It's Falcon Heavy.
It is heavy.
Okay. Okay. Any questions you want to ask him? I know what I wanted to ask him, but I know you all don't have access to it always. So go ahead.
Well, I was here in Las Vegas, Billy, and I understand. I mean, Mr. Dono had some, comments about, your whereabouts, for the majority of, the social time here.
Ken apparently was in a pretty bad mood that week.
Well, the thing about it was, I would, if I was you, Billy, I'd rather been where you were at anyway, because those are some killer vehicles.
No, we just want to hear where did you wind up, and what did you enjoy in Las Vegas?
Yeah, so the show in terms of drones was like flat out horrible. Like it was like there was nothing to see in terms of drones, which really sucks because you look at like 2018 compared to now in 2023. Back in 2018, there was maybe 5 or 6 drone manufacturers you really cared about there. And now this year, there was nothing. I mean, Autel, funny enough, released a new drone, but it wasn't a consumer drone. It was a commercial drone, right? Yeah. So I actually have a video that I'm working on, and I made a joke that it's more like the cool electronics show because they basically never show up with the actual consumer electronics anymore. But you know, Autel showed out really nice. Like they had a good booth there. They had a lot of good drones to see. But you know,
did you see my interview with Max?
Max?
No, I didn't see it.
I interviewed. I got about a 10-minute interview with Max Lee with the old farts with drones.
Well, you would never guess that he's a CEO, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. I talked to him. He was like, "Yeah, I got to talk to a guy named Max." I said, "You mean the owner?"
I had no clue. He had no title on his badge. Nobody told me who he was, and they just said, "Max is going to tell you about the new drone." I said, "Oh, okay. Hi, this is Old Farts. This is Max." And I was like,
"That is so great."
I had no idea who I was speaking with.
Really, Bob interviewed Max like he was a new guy there or whatever.
Yeah, it was so funny, man.
You even know anything about these drones?
I thought it was like a PR guy they sent over to talk to me. You know,
he looked at him and he said, "It's named Max."
I told him I had 10,000 members in my group, and you know, of senior citizens, and I'm interested. And they said, hold on. And this girl runs over and says, Max is going to tell you about the drone. And I was like, okay, that's all they told me.
That's great. Yeah. It was really honestly crazy that, you know, there was only really Autel there. And the only other drone that I saw was Sony's AirPeak drone suspended from the ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, those
all bullshit. I tried to talk you into going to see the Ring drone.
Well, yeah, you know, the Ring drone was there, but also it's like
it was in a
I don't know if that's ever going to come to market. Yeah, it was.
I don't think so.
It was in an enclosed area, right? Like you couldn't actually go and touch it and feel it. It was just kind of flying in a zoned off.
I got an update on the Ring drone. It's by request only. And I put my request in, and they said you'd hear something from at the beginning of February. So maybe it's closer than we think it is.
Cool.
I requested it like a year and a half ago when they said they were going to do it then, and I never heard anything back. So kind of peculiar. But anyway, I did get the what is it? The Echo. I do have the Auto. It's the one for my car that you can put in different cars. You know. So anyway, I had to do like Ron said and put in a permission slip and say, please, can I have your product to test? Not really. Go ahead.
Speaking of like Ring, you know, it's pretty cool that Amazon is coming out with a dash cam, primarily because I think that a lot of the dash cams available right now are such crap. Like it's just nothing but no name, off-brand, you know, cameras that are just basically the same thing, but just rebranded differently and maybe painted a different color. So the fact that now like a big player is actually getting into the space, I hope that it kind of, you know, brings about more good options because most of them just suck.
Bad software.
Yeah, well, bad software mixed with bad hardware, right? I mean, it's basically just like a 2008 webcam.
Yeah, exactly.
How about this? How about incredible software with antique hardware?
What is he showing us?
You've better sensor on this drone. Please, SKYDIO, a better sensor.
You've been talking to me quite a bit about what you feel about that sensor.
I love the stuff. The panos are looking cool and everything. It's like, you know, if I put the Mavic 3 up in the sky and take the same shot, I'm going to take the Mavic 3 shot every time.
Yeah. That's an unfair comparison, though. I think that it's unfair to compare the Mavic 3 to any drone because it is so damn good. Like that camera it's unreal.
But I mean, if you're going to
add, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Caleb.
I was just saying, and the price point reflects that. I mean,
yeah.
You want a $2,000 drone or do you want a $1,000 drone? You're going to expect the same thing from both.
But look at the Mavic 3 Classic. I mean, that's a when that came out, like that kind of made me finally be like, all right, I can finally start recommending the Mavic 3 to people, because the Mini 3 at its price point was so good to the point where I don't think that many people need much more than that. But if you did, it's nice that now you don't have to spend $2,100 on the Mavic 3. You can just spend $1,500 on the Classic.
People don't realize just how versatile the Mini 3 Pro is. And I'm like, I love vertical mode. I really love vertical mode for the Mini 3 Pro. But that's me.
Yeah, the Mini,
good.
The vertical shooting is nice, and I just think that that's going to be another way they're going to get people to buy a Mavic 4 is just put vertical shooting into it.
Yeah. Do you really think there's going to be an Air 3? And if so, is it going to be?
I think the only way that they can come out with an Air 3 is if it takes over the price point of the Air 2S, if it directly replaces that drone. Because if you price it any higher at like $1,300, it's way too close to the Mavic 3 Classic. So I still think that there's a need for an Air, but who knows? Because I always thought there was a need for a Phantom as well, and they've obviously completely discontinued that. So,
well, here's the other question for future tech. What do you think about a Pocket 3 with what a 1-inch center is? What do we think about that? And if so, nice. When? Nothing. Nobody guesses.
I thought that would have been a good holiday release for them, but they're obviously probably waiting. I feel like that's always like a spring release almost.
Possibly. And what was it? Didn't Deals Drone predict a spring release? It was like April.
Yeah, March. I think he had the Air 3 for April and maybe the Pocket 3 for March.
Okay, the Pocket 3 for March.
Yeah, and the big fear about the Pocket 3 is maybe it gets a 1-inch sensor, but maybe it doubles the price from 400 to 800. And also, what if it increases the size? I don't need a pocket that's not actually pocketable anymore.
There's already Mavic 3 Classic refurbs.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
What? I'm not Mavic 3 Classics, not OG.
That was a week ago that popped up, Bill. That's not even new. That's
with two batteries too.
Old news.
With two batteries, man.
My Mavic 3 Classic for some reason is having issues. Like, even though I've completely customized the braking settings and everything, it takes forever to brake. Like, it just continues to float forwards. And that's like so bizarre. And I've even had an issue where it's gone into Addy mode and just completely lost control.
So we need to install some disc brakes in that thing, huh?
I know, right? Yeah, I was trying to land it, and as I was coming in, it was the control was so delayed that I almost slammed it right into a car in the parking lot. Like,
you gonna have to send it in?
I don't know. I don't know. I probably will. I'll probably do.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need the room. Ladies and gentlemen, I need the room. I have a public service announcement. We need to start a GoFundMe. Get Billy new tires.
No, they're going on tomorrow. They're going on tomorrow.
All right. I saw that picture on Twitter, man, and I was like, but the thing that was cool is that you actually, you posed the picture and took it. Some old fart like me, I would have been driving down the road after I had a flat tire, and I was going, oh man, there was a perfect photo op. I should have done that an hour ago.
So I got a leak. Billy, what am I drinking? I'm drinking water. There was a leak in the tire. And that happened while I was in Florida. So it was leaking all the way from Florida to Philadelphia. And my goal was basically just to stop every 70 miles, because every 70 miles is when I would get the low tire pressure warning. So 70 miles, it would go from about 42 PSI down to about 25. I'd pull over. I have a portable air pump. I'd plug it in. I'd sit there for 5 minutes and let it pump up. And it was such a nightmare because the thread on the inside of the pump wore out. So now I have to hold it there. I can't just screw it on and let it sit there.
Yeah.
So I'm getting new tires tomorrow, which is nice.
Does the Tesla disc take standard tires or?
Yeah, I mean, so I have Pirelli P0s on there right now, and that's what came on the car, and then that's what I just kept putting on. They're staggered tires, so the back ones are a little bit wider. So I can't do tire rotations. So I was kind of always caught in this rut where I had to buy only 2 tires at once. I had to replace the 2 front or replace the 2 back. Right. And now I'm in a position where I need to replace all of them. So I'm switching from Pirelli over to Michelin. So hopefully that is better.
Right. No, I've always had good luck with Pirellis over the years. When I was younger in sports cars, they always seem to be the grippiest tires on my sports
They're
cars.
great. They're great, but the Michelin hopefully is better for all weather. I don't. Are we going to get any snow this winter? I've got no idea. I mean, we had like one little snowstorm.
We're getting past that point around here. It's been a warm winter in the Northeast.
Yeah, it has been very mild.
Yeah. I mean, it was a couple flakes at the shore last weekend, like Saturday morning.
Yes.
Flurries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what did you do at CES? Did you look at vehicles? You looked at cars and stuff. What kind of new cars did you see that were cool?
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to start up my second electric vehicle channel. So a lot of like, I think that really the EVs were dominant at CES just because all of West Hall was basically vehicles, whether it was cars, charging technology, self-driving, sensors, stuff like that. So, and it's cool.
Did you visit the Honda electric car? The Honda, who else?
Sony, Honda and Sony came out with a car together.
I feel
Yeah, Sony actually had two cars that they displayed 2 years ago, and it looked just like a Model 3 and just like a Model Y. So I guess they built their own car, but I guess they probably figured that it's just easier to partner up with like Honda or someone like that. Which I have to wonder what Honda gets out of that partnership with Sony, like better technology or something. I mean, really, I feel like Honda's bringing a lot more to the table than Sony is in that partnership.
Yeah,
I guess Honda has all the factories and everything to roll out the production.
Yeah, they're building the whole car, and what Sony's just going to provide them with like screens and sensors. I mean, I feel like that's just such a small part of the partnership.
Yeah.
What's up, Ray?
Although the screens are pretty cool. The bumper, you can have the bumper reading out sports scores to you.
Yeah, Bob did an excellent video on that.
You can have you can say what time is it in Tokyo, and the bumper will light up the Tokyo time for you.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Or you could even tell you if you need to power up, if you fuel up, or whatever you say now, or charge up.
Where's the charge?
Any word on an Audi electric car? See, she was asking this question.
They have the e-tron.
The e-tron.
You see the BMW change colors?
Yeah, that in my opinion, that's a little bit gimmicky. It was cool because 2 years ago they brought one that was just black and white changing, so it just went to black or white. Now it's really any color that you want. But I don't think it'd be legal to drive on roads here in the U.S.
Okay, I got to ask this question.
Well, that would be an interesting point because it does have the color of your vehicle on your registration.
But it was funny that because Billy's reaction was kind of matter of fact to it. But how many old farts on this panel tonight would have ever thought that we could have purchased a car in the future that we could press a button on a remote and change the color?
Yeah.
Never thought that.
Hey, you could commit so many crimes. You could be a pink car and go and rob a bank, and then you jump in and turn into a blue car.
Yeah.
or like a reflective mirror car and they couldn't see you at all.
Yeah, that'd be trippy.
A stealthy car.
That'd be very trippy.
Yeah, it is moving fast. It is. Caleb, I think you're muted.
I was just saying, like Transporter, where he hits the button and the license plate flips over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I was showing this. Pitch Black came back, right? But I've got the Pitch Black energy drink. Pitch Black was my favorite of the flavored Mountain Dews when it first came out. And it had that grapey flavor with the super bite to it. But, this one, the energy drink, seems like it's just real syrupy, but I'll have to deal with it because I can't find the regular one yet.
Well, I thought you were going to say Pitch Black was your favorite science fiction movie of like 20 years ago.
I like Pitch Black a lot, too. I like that whole series with him.
Yeah, it's a great film.
It was really cool. Something I wanted to talk about. A lot of people are asking questions and kind of curious. And of course, Billy's at the point now to where it doesn't really matter. And I know the story of how he originally built this channel, but I'm curious do you have any insight on what you might give as an opinion or an idea to someone to help build their channel and sustain their channel? I know you started out on Reddit, that's where you came from. You worked your way up there, but I don't think there's a door for that anymore.
Yeah, no,
So,
I mean, what I did was I went to the subreddits and I posted a lot of my videos and just asked like, hey, you know, what are people's thoughts on this video? Or like, hey, can you give me any critiques or stuff like that? I think from there, like that kind of gave me the initial spark. And then it's all about just like that consistency. Like consistency is huge. And it's funny because I'm kind of working through it with some of the people that I work with, you know, like clients of mine that are trying to build up their social media as well, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, or whatever. And the biggest thing is like consistency. So, you know, outside of YouTube, I do a lot of video work for people, creating social media style videos for them. And, you know, I can only do so much for them, and I can only like shoot so much video for them to the point where like it's like still cost effective for them, but like they're not spending a ton of money. So that usually means like 4 videos a month. And that's like kind of like 1 video a week, right? Which is good because you can sit down and batch film all of those, but then it's kind of up to them to post in between and like keep current. You know what I mean?
right.
So, I mean, really it's about consistency, because you could go like a month without posting and you kind of lose all of that traction. You know, and so, you know, when I like right now, like, so I'm kind of going through, and I'll give you an inside look at what I'm doing, trying to grow my Tesla channel. Right now, it's not at the forefront of my mind. Like, you know, I have a lot of other things that I kind of put priority over this second channel. But really, my first goal is to like just get a basis of content, like get a backlog of videos that are on your channel that people can go and look at. And try to make them as good as possible, right? Don't just upload anything for the sake of uploading, but like give people a good idea of like what they can expect when they come to your channel. So, you know, my thought process when going on to somebody's video is like, are they worth a subscription? Like, am I going to continue to watch their videos? Are they going to continue to post videos? And one of the ways that I determine that is like, have they posted a lot over the past month? And if I see that they've only posted once, I might say, well, I'm not going to subscribe, because what are they going to post one more time? So I'll end up just, you know, like not subscribing. So that's my first thing, is like build a nice backlog of content, like good quality content that people want to go and look at. And then from there, like just continuing on with that content as people are, you know, as people are continuing to subscribe is huge. So, you know, kind of figure out what your audience wants to see and deliver that similar content, right? Like I wouldn't go and upload a video on my channel about, I don't know, makeup, because I'm a guy, first of all, but also because it's just totally doesn't fit the genre of my channel, right? Like nobody would want to click on it. So you've got to make videos that you think your audience would want to watch. Yeah, Ray asked about shorts. I haven't really messed with YouTube shorts. Now that they're starting to pay, maybe I'll give it a try and start uploading shorts.
I think it's February they start monetizing, right, and paying.
Yeah. My biggest issue is just how shorts integrate into YouTube right now. Personally, I hate going onto my subscription feed on my phone or on my computer and seeing nothing but shorts, because it's super annoying to see them there. Like I think they need to be put in their own spot. And also I hate how it looks on my channel. Like I love all the clean thumbnails. They all look the same as it goes down. And then I upload a short, and it's like this weird, like half blurred out, half vertical, you know? So I don't know. I
get all them TikTok kids.
I know. And that's the thing too, is like, I feel like a lot of the stuff that I want to talk about can't be fit into like a short form video. And when I make a short form video, I always want to end it with like, go to my YouTube channel for the full video, because it's always too short.
Yeah.
Like I use shorts to show like cool hyperlapses and cool like single video clips that I got, but like I don't use it to try to cover a whole topic, you know.
Well, you talk fast. You may be able to get something in a minute. I talk slow. A minute. I don't even get my name out in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. What about
yes.
keywords? Do you really spend any time with keywords or anything like that?
Really, just stuff that is obvious. Like if I'm making a video about like the SKYDIO, it's like I tag it with SKYDIO, SKYDIO 2, SKYDIO 2 Plus, SKYDIO 2 tracking, SKYDIO 2 versus Mavic 2, SKYDIO 2 versus Mavic 3, like stuff that I think people are going to watch. So that'll go down in the tags. And then I'll hashtag like 3 of like the major things. So for example, like I'll do hashtag SKYDIO, hashtag SKYDIO 2, hashtag SKYDIO 2 tracking. So those will be like the main hashtags that I kind of put at the bottom of the description. And then those actually show up as hashtags. And something else that I've been really using a lot are the timestamps, because what I've noticed is that if I search for somebody's video, let's say I say how to perform an IMU calibration on the Mavic 3. a video might get recommended to me that's a general review of the Mavic 3, but there's a short clip in that video where he discusses the IMU calibration, so it'll take me to his video. So that's kind of a way of like appealing your single video to more, I would say, topics. So for example, if I am reviewing the Mavic 3, and let's say I break it down between the camera, the price, and the actual drone itself, if somebody types in Mavic 3 review, they'll see my video. If somebody doesn't even use the word Mavic 3 review and they look up Mavic 3 pricing, and if I have a Mavic 3 pricing section in my video, then that'll get pushed to the top of their search results because I have that in my description and it's actually marked out. So that's another big thing, is adding in some timestamps for videos.
Does YouTube?
And how hard is it to add the timestamps in, Billy?
Not too tough. Like my workflow for it is to have Final Cut Pro pulled up, so my editing software, and then because I've edited the video, I know like the timeline from front to back just because I've spent so much time editing that video. So I'll go through and drag my playhead to where the different times start, look at where the time is. So like I'll drag through, I'll scrub, and I'll say, oh, from 0:00 to 1 minute and 10 seconds is my intro. So I'll go through and I'll type in 00.00-intro. And then I look at the playhead. I say, all right, it's a minute 10. So the next one starts at a minute 10. I type that in. And then I look and I say, what did I talk about for this time? I go, oh, I talked about, the pricing. So then I'll put pricing. And I look for the next playhead where I move on to the next topic. And then just basically, type that information into the description.
Thank you.
Your Tesla stuff's on the Billy channel, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And like, that's kind of like an experiment for me right now. Like just kind of having it out there, trying some different things. It's cool to just like try new stuff, like I've been doing the drone thing for a while, and I'll do it forever because I love doing it, but it's still cool to kind of like stimulate the
Billy.
Well, I think you're about at that stage to graduate, man. You're to take the McKinnon step where you go from just doing drone shit into cinematographer, photographer,
I'm looking at his channel. I'm looking at Billy's channel. I know what he's doing. When Elon becomes president, he wants a cabinet position.
When who?
Elon.
Yeah,
That's what he's doing.
Brian, he'll be the minister of drones.
Yeah.
We need one of those.
No. He'll be the vice minister of media.
The no, and I love Peter McKinnon's channel, and I used to love it, but so like recently, like I've seen some of these people on YouTube, they kind of like outgrow their channel and they want to do other things, which is totally cool. But then it's like they try to come back and do a video and it's just like totally not as good as their old videos. Like I remember Peter McKinnon did a review of the Mavic 3, and his review, he was like, I literally just took this out of the box and here's my review of it. Whereas like when I did my review video, I worked for like 10 days on it, like I worked so hard and so long on that review video. And then like to see like other creators just opening it out of the box, doing a quick video, and they just show their first flight, or they just not even their first flight. I mean, because I do my first flight and I share my thoughts. I think that's a completely different style video, but that's not a review video. Like his review was like him just flying over the his neighborhood and capturing some low light video, and I was like, that doesn't show much about the drone, So I always like a big thing in the back of my mind is to always make sure I put 110% in my content, because I never want to upload something that people are like, man, he half-assed that.
And you forgot to mention, you looked over his views and he had like thousands of views on that, right?
Well, look, he's got a huge channel and people respect his opinion, which I can understand. But I think it's also tough up in Canada because now he needs to take a test in order to fly his drone commercially and stuff. So I know that those rules have kind of put a damper on stuff like that up in Canada.
Yeah, anything over 250 grams, yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, man. If you've ever checked out Pirate Pete's channel, because he sells his gear through Pirate Pete.
Yes.
And I mean, and dude, he'll be like selling an ink pen. And you'll think, oh, yeah, you'll get an email and it'll say, tomorrow we're going to unveil at 9 a.m. Pacific time the the Pirate Life pen, the Pirate Life Mini that fits in your pocket. And you go look at it, and the son of a bitch is $300, man.
Yeah. Whoa,
you're like,
wait, really? His pen is $300? Is that actually a thing?
It's his stuff. The stuff is, I mean, he has like poker chips. Or like $75, $85, $100 just for a Peter McKinnon chip. I mean,
damn. I mean, chips are more money than I lose at playing poker.
Let's see.
I've personally wanted to start selling.
Yeah, I manufacture poker chips for clients. They're 85, 90 cents.
Yeah. Yeah, but the symbol on it makes it worth more. I've thought about selling stuff in my YouTube channel to monetize in another way, but if it's going to be done, it's got to be done right in a way that it provides worth to somebody. Like the first thing I thought about selling was like drone gloves, like gloves that are used to fly during the cold, because I know that I personally cannot find a good set of gloves. But like, and look at what Alderin is doing with his flight case. Like he's selling something that provides like a ton of worth. Like not only is that something that kind of promotes him and his brand, but it's something that literally is great.
This is what you call being big. You see this? He's just got a website, and it's just when his next little item is going to drop, you find out here, and you put your email in, and you just get. And that's
that is like such a big popular thing now, is like these drops. Like you drop like specific things, and you drop only limited amount of them and whatever. And you know, really it all comes down to not only it's not about the quality, it's about the exclusivity, right? Like it's like, oh, only 100 of these are going to be made. So therefore, in order to make any money, I need to sell them for $500 each. But you know, people are willing to pay it because it's like, and I've fallen victim to it too. It's like you see something, you're like, whoa, there's only a certain amount made, I'm going to buy it.
Well, see, it's kind of weird because I had a feeling that this episode was going to evolve this way, because I've realized that, like you were talking about, there's not really a whole lot of drones for consumers on the horizon for this year. So all our shows like this are going to kind of run out of shit to talk about. So we're going to kind of have to expand. So I thought we would do a little, add a segment to the show, as some of the people are saying. What do you do when you're not flying drones? Because like you like to take pictures and stuff. I love to take pictures. Something I just found again, and it was due to a friend of mine on Facebook, Jason Boyle. I have gotten back into collecting Hot Wheels.
Yeah, me too.
I had gotten away from it, but dude, I didn't know anything about Treasure Hunt and Super Treasure Hunt. And then now I know about, oh, wait a minute, hang on. And then, but do you know how much the most valuable Hot Wheels is? And somebody on this panel could possibly have it. It's a little surf bus, right? With a surfboard sticking out of the back. $175,000 for the Hot Wheels car. If you can find the damn thing.
Well, if you have you seen the Pokemon cards now and how expensive they're getting now that they've kind of resurfaced? I mean, like hundreds of thousands of dollars for like single Pokemon cards. And I was super into Pokemon when I was younger. Like the perfect age where I bought a ton of Pokemon cards when I was younger. I went through all of them, and I have a couple of cards that, like, if they were actually in good condition, they'd be worth that $100,000.
Wow.
But of course, I was like 4 years old when I had them, so I trashed the cards, and they're all bent up and stuff, so they're worthless.
So, kind of like your pirate page, Wizards of the Coast just did something kind of similar. It's the 30-year anniversary of Magic the Gathering, so they created a new set. It's the old set that has like the Black Lotus in it that's worth like $100 and something thousand. But what they did is they were like, all right, so there's this new set. We're only going to have so many of them. And for 30 cards, it's $500 or $250. And for you to make the entire set, you have to buy all four, and you can only buy all four. So you have to spend $1,000 for 60 cards. And you may or may not get any card that's worth anything over $10. But it's limited, and like basically the entire fan base exploded, and everybody got super, super upset. And what it looks like now, because they put it up on the store, and then they took it down like 4 hours later, and they were like, okay, well, we kind of sold out. But then everybody started realizing that a bunch of other stores all over the place still had them. And it looks like they basically didn't sell, and they didn't sell so bad that Wizards of the Coast was like, we got to pull them and save face, act like we sold them.
Wow, that's crazy.
But yeah, they're literally selling $1,000 boxes of crap.
Ken was wanting. He's stalking you, Billy.
Talking drones.
Sorry, I had to step away. Somebody was on the phone I haven't talked to in 10 years.
Okay. Here's the thing about now. Something like you asked me about when I said about Hot Wheels, and you said you didn't know about Treasure Hunt and Super Treasure Hunt. Okay. The thing about it is now Treasure Hunt, literally it will have a TH somewhere on the car. It'll say TH, and there'll be like a little flame logo, right? That's possibly on the car or a decal on the car. And then behind the car itself, a Treasure Hunt will have a silver flame logo. Those son of a bitches will go for anywhere. You can buy it for $2 in the store, regular Matchbox price, and collectors will pay upwards of $150, $200, $300 for one $2 card. And they put them out randomly like that. Okay, now here's the bigger Easter egg. It's called Super Treasure Hunt, which is everything like I was telling you, the TH, the little flame logo, but behind the card, instead of it being silver, it's a gold logo, and it's literally painted like a regular factory model car, and it's got rubber tires on it they call real wheels.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, and they're badass, man. And Super Treasure Hunts can go anywhere from $300 up into the thousands of dollars.
So I've gotten into collecting like sports cards as well recently, like rookie cards and stuff like that. It's been one of my vices.
Yeah.
My dad just sold one of his sets for $60,000.
Jeez.
He was into collecting baseball cards when I was a baby, though, so some of those are definitely worth a bit now.
He's been sitting on them for a while, and baseball is like the biggest I would say in terms of like cards. You know?
Yeah, they were crazy. They were like the hand-drawn cards from like the 40s or 30s or something like that.
Wow,
it was pretty nuts.
That's incredible.
Like when this one first came out, it was like the $1.19, and it came out last year, and now it's already like $8. And it's the little oddity cars or character cars. And in the box sets, like this one's like all the DC. There's Robin and Batman and stuff in there too.
Did you get any Tesla Cybertrucks?
Yes, I did. Remember I told you that. I've got one that's individually numbered, man. It's stored and put away. It's awesome. It's an actual Super Treasure Hunt that I got. Hey, Rodney!
Bill, I was going to say, I want to interrupt it and welcome Rodney Bell. And Bill, Rodney's not a moderator.
What?
How can the great Rodney Bell not be a moderator?
I don't understand.
How can he be calling us nerds when we literally talk about drones?
Yes, we are the ultimate.
Everybody here is a nerd. Let's be real.
We are proud of it. Like being a proud old fart.
Oh, whoa! He sold. Oh, yeah! I could believe it. I can believe it.
Wow. Unopened.
Oh, wait a minute. 21 cases? I mean,
I would have opened those.
Yeah, I'd have had to have. Because and that's another thing too. If you can get like what are they called, defect cars, like where the paint job's crooked or something like that, those are not worth as much, but they're worth a little something. But
really,
yeah. Here you go. I'll do this. Go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
So Bill, yes, are they selling those cars at the same price then? The Matchbox cars?
How do you mean? Yeah, they hide them in the ones at the store. That's cool. Regular shit. You just got to go hunting for it. The thing about it is old farts like us tend to know about it. So you kind of got to have a connection, or you go to like, say a Dollar Tree or Dollar General store, somewhere to where you regular people wouldn't go check. And sometimes you can find like cases just laying up on the shelves, and you can just rummage through the whole thing. Most of the time you just have to find like something cool here and there. Every now and again there's some that are like in a limited press, and so they're worth a little bit. Like I'm really into, I used to love Spider-Man, but I've noticed as I got older I became a really avid Batman fan. So I've got like shitloads of the Batman cars. I'll show you here in a minute, but I wanted to show you.
They're not charging more because it's not predatory. They're not being like, hey, here's this special exclusive. We're going to charge $10 for it instead of $2.
Hang on. And I want to go. There's more to the Wizards of the Coast thing than just that. Did you hear about what they did? They rewrote their own license for D&D, man, and everybody's livid. They're like, wait a minute, you tried to make this all proprietary like 10 years ago and said it was ironclad, and now you're like, oh, no, we want to make it 1.1.
Yeah, so now anybody that runs D&D games on YouTube, anybody that has a D&D website, any of that stuff, they're basically owned by Wizards if they pass through that thing. But they had to walk that back. They had to walk that back real quick because so many people canceled their accounts.
Well, it's not just that. Phil Mora did the same thing too, trying to make everybody forced to go over. And then literally the YouTube community called him out and said, look, Lifetime means lifetime. You can't just suddenly go, oh, well, we've come up with a whole new format, so you don't have lifetime anymore. It's like, I'm not dead yet. You still owe me free wear. Period, man. Stop. I'm getting tired. That's another thing, too. It's like insurance companies. It's not really insurance. It's only 30% coverage. You got to barter for the rest. What?
Yep.
And then you got to fight for it if you do get hit.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous anymore. But okay, so I wanted to share this screen. Let me present this. You were talking about, because they do, but it's kind of funny. You see this right here? It says, let me get back over here. So it's telling you were talking about, here it is, the RLC exclusive 2022 Hot Wheels Super Treasure Hunt set. So there's like 16 cars, and see how the wheels are different. They're actually indented, and there's rubber on them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see, and the paint job, look how it's 10 times better. It's not like the ones you ran through the dirt. See, look at that. It's really shiny and nice. And you can find these in stores. Like I had a buddy that found this particular one right here, the hot rod here. Okay, now this went on sale Thursday morning, and I literally had my phone in my hand, 5G plus showing on it. Already had my credit card in there. And you can see right here, it says $250. Well, I knew that if I could sell those 16 cars for, $40, $50 a pop, I was going to make bank. But I was figuring probably a lot more than that because I know how much Super Treasure Hunts go for. Literally, it sold out in 35 seconds, 1,500 bucks. 35 seconds. Poof.
Well, the one thing that I think about like collecting, I wouldn't say that it's ruined it, but it's just kind of changed the atmosphere, is the internet, right? Like the fact that now if I want to get Joel Embiid, rookie card, I can just Google it and pay the money and get the card. Like it's I don't know, it's different.
Yeah.
See how these tires are? They're not like the Bobo ones. There's actually rubber and there's intricate rims.
Yeah,
so that's your sign that it's a super treasure hunt, because it'll have what they call real riders. See, and I didn't know any of this shit, and he was like, "Yeah, man, it's huge now again." He was like, "You got to check this stuff out," and I was like, "I didn't know nothing about it." And then here we go. I will drop this for a moment. Y'all go ahead and back to talking. I will show you what I'm talking about. This most valuable Hot Wheels.
Well, see, I collect drones like I collect cards at Hot Wheels. Like, I mean, I'll never sell my original Mavic Pro or like my Spark. Like, I love holding on to those things.
Let's see. Oh, I wish I still had my Spark. I did like that. But I'm telling you, I really want to. Oh, yes, that is Daniel Batal. Batal was the one who busted Phil Mora's ass. Yes, right, dead on. And it kind of reminds me of like a YouTube D. Snyder, for anybody that doesn't know, Twisted Sister. But he's kind of got that kind of personality to him and everything. But his delivery is incredible. I love watching his stuff. He's very informative. But yeah, he's the one who busted him. And they threatened to take him to court. And made him take that. They asked YouTube to take one of his videos down that they sponsored him to make over all this bullshit. It was really crazy. But anyway, so okay, I'm gonna get back on a share. Present.
I'm into collecting guns, Billy. You ever thought about that? The value doesn't go down.
Yes. You know what? I could kick my out. Get this, Chris, and you'll probably want to kick my ass for this. I was 16 years old, and my dad had bought me it was the Remington replica Pony Express rifles that just had it was just a single bolt. It was a single shot. And it was the one that, how they could flip it around in their hands and roll it almost like a revolver to cock it again and put in another. It was like, and it was a replica, and they only did one 1 second press. And I sold the damn thing for $35 when I was 16.
Oh, geez.
And I'm thinking that because I've looked now and I think it's worth like $5,000 now. And I'm like, oh, okay.
$35 back in the 40s was a lot of money.
Okay, so here you go. This is what I was talking about. This is what's ridiculous. Look at this. So here you go. A 1970. And look at the condition it's in. $3,000. Okay, here you go. $3,000, and these are the top 21. Here's a and I think I had this one. I know I had this one, the white one, for $3,000.
Bill, I could have bought the real thing when I was young for that much money.
Yes.
Look at
I
this.
bought a 69 Camaro for $2,900.
3,000. Oh wow, I'd say that one's worth more in the case. Here you go. The super fine turbine, 3,500, and they just start going up. I had this one. I remember having this one, the Red Baron.
Ah.
And I had this one, the Gremlin, for 4,000.
Everybody had that one.
Yeah, everybody literally, didn't they? Because remember, I had the Gremlin up here on the roof.
It didn't ride worth a shit either because of those wheels.
No, it didn't. It didn't ride worth a damn. But yeah, it had that. Oh,
look,
this
cool.
would be what they would call a super.
Wow.
That would be a super treasure hunt now. Very close.
Definitely, you could have found a real old 442 for less than that. In this
Look at
country.
this.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
$5,000 for that little hunk of metal.
I threw that at my sister.
Yeah.
That's the last time I've ever seen it.
Purple.
Yeah.
How much is that Ferrari?
6,000.
Back up to number 9. How much was the Ferrari?
Oh, back here,
Yeah.
$5,000. That's a good. That's in great.
Now, a
shape,
real
too.
Ferrari you can't get for
Yeah,
that.
I won't say
Probably-
that about the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Okay,
no.
and then we got $8,000 for the
Oh, the
Woody.
Woody.
Look at that.
Ah.
$10,000 for the AMX.
Shelby.
Wow.
Oh.
Blue Ed Shaver Blue AMX.
Huh.
Oh man, $12,000, and that thing's gorgeous. That is a pretty little car.
How long have they been making Hot Wheels for? When did they start making them?
60s?
Yeah, in the 60s.
I mean, I see a lot of 1969 here, which kind of makes me think that that's like the first year that they were ever.
Yeah, that's what I'm
making
thinking around
cars,
that
yeah.
era.
Matchboxes came first, right, Bill?
Yeah, Matchboxes were first, but they're not near worth as much.
Because the Hot Wheels are more fun because they were faster when they ran better.
50. Oh, here
Matchbox
$25,000.
had better detailing.
68 Camaro, 25,000. So 68 for 68.
Did Hot Wheels
40,000.
buy? Did Hot Wheels
No,
buy
they-
Matchbox?
There it is. There's the number one right there's. It is
$175,000. This
What
is a
makes it the most
Volkswagen
collectible?
mini microbus.
Yeah, microbus, yeah.
69 pink rear loading beach bomb.
Does that include the surfboards, Bill?
I think so. Yes, they come. They're part of the deal. But and if I remember correctly, I think the surfboards come out. I think you can put the surfboards in and out.
Hey, Bob,
Yeah,
wouldn't
well,
that
if you-
look better with some peace signs on it or something like that?
It should have been some flowers too.
I don't think
Yeah,
it would have been.
flower
Worth, I don't.
power.
It
Yes.
would be worth 175,000 though. That's
Hey,
the
Bob, when's
sad
the last
thing.
time you heard somebody say flower
If you-
power?
If you lose the surfboards, it's only $100,000. Those two little surfboards are worth 75
Yeah.
grand.
I
now
have a
everybody
friend
started-
here in Las Vegas that restores those for real, and he's buying chassis and parts from rural Mexico and putting these things together. And he's got a waiting list at $200,000-$300,000 a piece.
Restoring
For
what?
VW microbus.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah. 23
Well,
window.
Well, Billy, on electric
all
cars, I always see this picture once a year that they're building an all electric, VW microbus now, but it never comes out.
No, but
A lot of them are
he's
custom.
restoring them, and he's done about 10 that I've witnessed, and they're incredible. Yeah. Good.
Well, Bill, any more collectibles?
everything's a collectible now.
I collect old Apple stuff.
What's the
yeah,
old
that's a-
Apple
that's
here?
a-
you have that iMac
that's cool.
behind you all the time, right?
Well, there's a Mac Plus back there,
Yeah, Mac Plus behind you.
and there's another iMac behind me, and there's an
Yeah,
iMac
Mac
in
Plus
front of
one.
me. I have the pedestal, the dome, the G4 iMac.
Oh yeah, right,
G4
right.
iMac that
Yep.
where it's the white dome with the flat screen. I have one of
You
those
don't have
right
that
there.
25th anniversary edition that was.
I did not get a 20th anniversary or a 25th anniversary. I have the first iPhone. I have the first iPod.
Wow.
I have the first.
Are they in the box still, or are they taken out?
No, I used them all.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're all mine. I have
They're all
boxes.
dead. They're beat up.
Yeah.
Here's how long.
Bill, while we're on Apple, speaking of Apple, Billy, what did you think of the new MacBook Pro M2s that came out just the other day?
I think they're awesome. I've got an M1 Max right now, so I'm not going to upgrade. But the fact that on the M1 Max you can get up to 96 gigabytes of RAM that's like irresponsible. Like, what are you going to do with all that RAM? Like, I could store a whole entire video shoot on just the RAM.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, my hard drive's getting filled up. Let me use the RAM instead.
I really am considering a new Mini, and I'm working on I'm right now working on an i9. There's 5K iMac.
I was thinking about a Mini too,
and I'm thinking about a Mini and a monitor.
I have the same generation Billy does. I have the 14-inch M1 with the M1 Pro chip in it. And I'm still real happy with it. I don't need
it's great.
Me? What about Bob? That's not fair. What about Bob?
I picked up a little MacBook Air. I picked up a little MacBook Air for traveling, and this thing is awesome too.
The M1.
This is the M2, the M2 MacBook Air.
Here's a walk down memory lane for Billy. This is a walk down memory lane for Billy.
Oh God, I already know what you're going to pull up. I just saw it.
Yeah, you saw this is. You remember this?
Yeah, the OG.
Because he was this. It was what like the only one that shot 4K, and that was why you got it at that point in time. And he's like never been back to Panasonic since. And I actually like Panasonic.
Yeah, Panasonic is great. I just kind of bought into Sony's ecosystem because of the autofocus. I spent a lot of time in front of, and I'm like in front of the camera, but also behind the camera at the same time. So I wanted something that just focused, and I knew I could trust it.
Panasonic got the worst autofocus.
Yeah, but they've got a really good camera.
Oh and I still have my G4. I'll never give it up. I love it because
I got this.
I'm old school. I can manual focus. I don't need the.
Yeah, that's great.
Hey, before we get away from Apple, the most impressive product to me, I thought, was, did you see the HomePods back? The full-size HomePods back. Now, you can pre-order now for early February release. The HomePods, like the basically the good as you can get at those little, like, music boxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look at that. Is that the OG?
Yeah, there's the first iPod.
Yep. 5 gigabyte.
I had
5 gigabyte
mine's long gone.
Spinning hard drive, FireWire.
Look at the thickness.
Yep. But
yet its day it wasn't considered thick.
No. FireWire connection.
Now just one song as a WAV file can be like 40 megabytes.
Yeah.
And Billy, before the iPod 1 came out, I had an MP3 player, and you were lucky to get like 15 songs on it. And then the iPod came out, and you could put like 500 or 1,000 songs. It was like a revolution.
Hey, believe it or not, I'm old enough to actually I can say that my first MP3 player, my first portable music device was a Walkman, where we actually put the disc inside of it. Like that was my
disc,
I was super young.
Not a cassette.
No, disc. Yeah, disc was the
cassette Walkmans were the first Walkmans.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But still, I was on the Walkman before the MP3 player was a thing, and then I think my first iPod was the first iPod Nano when they first came out, the little Nano.
Yeah.
See, that's why I really liked. I was glad that this show didn't have that kind of because we've talked some about drones, but we bullshit. Like I said, this year does not look like a overtly huge year for a lot of new technology. With maybe Altel updating their consumer drones to 0.3 and screwing everybody over again.
With the year that DJI had last year, I just don't know what else they could do. I mean, maybe an FPV drone too, like a second version to because I mean the FPV drone
Mini
and the
Mini Avata.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's so many different ways that they can go. And, they have such a lock on it that it's just difficult to see, because they could just not even update their drones the next 3 years and still be ahead, which is such a pain to think about. Honestly, the state of the drone industry right now is partially DJI's fault because they've been so dominant that nobody wants to compete. I mean, it's basically like slaughter once you try to go in and try to come up with something. You've got to really come out with something different. I mean, the only reason SKYDIO is successful is because of their autonomy. Imagine if it had that drone, but just with DJI's standard obstacle avoidance system, it would never be a thing. It would never be popular. But it's the autonomy that keeps them around, But I still, with that, I think that they still have a bright future. I mean, I think that they're still going to come out with good drones and stuff, and I think that it's going to be fun to kind of see them, kind of fight with Autel for that second spot.
I'd just like to see a SKYDIO with, say, a Mavic Air 2 sensor on it.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be
agree.
like, wow, man. You know,
Yeah. In my interview with Max, it was he wanted to say that in the interview. Says, look around. He said, look around here. Do you see any other drone companies? You know, and
but that wasn't why. It had nothing to do with scaring them off.
No. But he was concerned. He said we should have more. There should be more drone companies here. There should be more competitors. You know, this industry. You know.
Well, what's the elephant in the room? Drone XL ran a story that DJI was banned
got
from.
Busted.
CES because of their, the
human rights violations,
as well as many other lists. So,
human rights violations. So they were barred.
Yes.
So I mean, that's the thing. And the thing about it is there's too many people try to blur lines. Is like they say, oh, Autel may be made in China, but it's not DJI. And I'm like, yes, it is. Yeah. Don't kid yourself. Yes, it is. So,
So it's interesting that we're talking about one of the things that I've brought up recently, that the drone research and development has kind of reached a plateau. They've got to the point where you can throw almost any type of sensor on there. You can keep it in the air for 30 minutes. And what more do you really need, right? So we've got the little things like obstacle avoidance or, better autonomy, different types of sensors and stuff like that. But where do you go from there? Where do you actually change drones? I mean, we're in this era where all new research and things like that, you instantly have 100,000 humans working on it the second that you show it on the internet. So new subjects, the more new things when they come out, we're going to see this again with new technology. So a thing will come out, and then within 3 years, it's almost like half perfected because so many people are like, that's a great idea. It's new. We're working on it.
Yeah. We've hit the plateau. We definitely hit the plateau. You're right.
What was it they called it? It was like the 4G something. Remember the schematic that came out for this? They showed it. It was like the mini 4G or more.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was about a month ago. That was
which I think it makes perfect sense. It does make perfect sense. I could see DJI doing something like that. And I really hope they are.
You get to a point, like you look at smartphones right now, and they've obviously plateaued for a while, right? I mean, they've kind of just been the same.
Been a while.
For a while. And, because now it's crazy. Like, I get excited over when Apple, like, does the littlest things, which is, like, just, it's obviously plateaued, right? So you look at, like, the drone space, and it kind of has plateaued. But, the more that I think about it, like, when the Mavic 2 Pro came out, and as I continued to use it, there was obvious flaws with it. Like, after 2 years, you were ready for a new drone. The Mavic 3 is a little bit different because I'm still loving that drone, and there's no thing that makes me want to put that drone down. But I do think that there are still some things that they could like improve upon in a next generation drone, and I wonder how long that can keep up for, because like they could add vertical shooting, they could try to keep up with the trends, they could give us longer battery life. I mean, I know I like to do these hyperlapses, and sure, like 40-ish minutes is good for if I'm just bombing around taking photos and whatnot, but like when I do these hyperlapses, how cool would it be to do a 2-hour-long hyperlapse? You know what I mean? And let the drone stay in the air for 2 hours. So for specific flight modes, a longer flight time would be really nice. And yeah, it's going to be tough for them to come out with a new drone and convince people to upgrade, because I know there's a lot of people that still have the Mavic 2 Pro and are like, this is good enough,
Yeah.
Well, look at the mini drones ability. A lot of people stuck with their Mini 2s. They did not upgrade to any of the Mini 3s. They're perfectly happy with their Mini 2s.
And
the Mini 3 is a powerhouse, though, man. The Mini 3 is a powerhouse.
And that's why with the Mini 3, it makes me wonder, what the hell does a Mini 4 have in stock? Like, we won't see a Mini 4 for like years because of how good the Mini 3 is.
I agree with Caleb here about battery technology. Is going to be, I think, surprisingly move fast forward. And that's going to change everything.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more with the battery tech already. It's obviously a really difficult field to get more out of things than you can. I mean, Elon's been working his ass off on it, right? So if he can't do it with all he's pouring into Tesla, then it's not any easier for drones to do. So I actually kind of think it's going to be, I mean, the battery thing obviously is a huge thing that's going to be worked on, but there's going to be more about efficiency. It's going to be, how do we make these motors work better? How do we make the propellers cut better? How do we get it to correct less so that it takes less time and effort to do so?
And you look at like Skydio, you know, with the 2 Plus and the bigger battery, they just kind of added a little bit more inside, you know, and it gave it more flight time. So they'll continue to improve battery density and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to wait until we see a real revolutionary step in actual batteries till we see a big increase, though. But that just brings it back to essentially we've plateaued. We've hit all those big increases for the most part. Now we got to figure out what could be next.
Yeah, I think it's keeping up with the trends and the gimmicks, right? Like vertical shooting, right? I mean, I know, first of all, I know that I'd any new drone that comes out, I would welcome, because like I love any sort of little edge that I can get. Like if you told me that this new drone was like, you know, instead of 47 miles an hour, it goes 57, I'm all in, right? Because like I want just a little bit extra speed. So, you know, I guess in your guys' opinion, what would it take for you if you had like a Mavic 3 or a Mini 3 to upgrade? Like what do you think needs to be done for you to be like, yeah, I'll go and spend another $2,000 on a brand new drone?
Well, are we just talking photo?
What do you mean?
Well, here's an example of some things where there are still some areas to improve. The new multispectral drone. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because there are individual like pockets of the drone industry where there could definitely be improvements. Like we've been using the same thermal sensors forever. It's been the 640 sensor. So can we up that to something that's a higher resolution, you know? So there are a lot of things, but I guess like your typical camera drone, right? Like what we all fly on the daily, like what if they came out with a Mavic 4, what would they need to do to convince people? Although I think that the Mavic 4 might actually get some good traction because of how many people didn't upgrade to the Mavic 3. So now they feel like, oh, Mavic 2 to Mavic 4 is like an actual worthy upgrade, you know?
Yeah,
that's actually a pretty good point.
Well, I mean, I'll hit on a few things with the Mavic 4, and we've talked about this, but you better battery life. And here's when somebody didn't say flies faster, and
I want more speed,
and maybe a little bit smaller in size.
Mm-hmm. I want more speed with a Mini 3 style gimbal. Not only, I mean, the Mini 3 style gimbal would be great for vertical shooting, but I mean, could you imagine having that drone tilting like all the way forwards, flying at like 90 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Bad out of hell.
For me, I guess it would be that little bit more power, but also with better control over the flight controller. If they gave us a little bit more control, like I don't want to wait 9 months for them to update it so that I can change my expo. Dude, get out of here with that.
So I think the big thing behind that, and I've seen this, is with the Fly app. Like they ditched the Go app for the Fly app, and I think the Fly app in the beginning was just meant to be used with like their consumer, like their bottom of the line consumer drones. They didn't have all the bells and whistles built in, and now it's just taking them time to add all of them. And I don't know what's the holdup, because like I feel like it would have been easy to just add the gain and expo settings, you know, but instead it took them these months and months and months. So.
Or it's DJI gatekeeping.
We
won't give you waypoint mode because we want you to buy the $4,000 more drone.
It's definitely gatekeeping. I mean, people are like, I made my waypoints video, and people are like, oh, is this going to be on the Air 2S? I'm like, well, probably not. It probably is not going to be on the Air 2S.
Many people probably hit, a lot of people hit you with it. Is it going to be on the Mini 3?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, look at the gatekeeping that they're doing with the Mini 3, like the standard Mini 3, not the Mini 3 Pro. It's like, oh yeah, we removed the obstacle avoidance sensor, so now you save money. But oh, guess what? That also removes active track. You know?
Yeah.
That also removes the ability to do specific things.
So here's something that would sell me: make it more indestructible.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Give me a drone where it's got some reinforced arms or something, and it can fall from 20 feet without shattering into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, I mean,
that
really
would sell the crap out of me.
The biggest issue is the gimbal, though, man. How do you make that any more robust? That's tough.
And have to have a cage of some kind and some sort of absorption. So I don't know.
Cage, it have to have a cage, or it would have to be interchangeable, so that you can literally just buy a new camera if you have to and just smack that thing on and not have to send it away to be repaired. Because I did the same thing. I hit a power line as I was taking off. It was dark. I didn't see it. I just flew straight up, clipped it with my propellers. The drone flipped over and fell down 20 feet. The whole entire drone was fine, but the back dampeners on the gimbal broke off. I had to send it away to get repaired. It's like I was without my Mavic 3 Cine for 3 weeks because of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't take much.
Yeah, no, that by far is the most fragile part of the drone.
Yep. I've got an Air 2S sitting here that has to be sent off. I'm not sure if it's the sand got into the gimbal or if one of the mounts is messed up.
Luckily, DJI support is good. I know that people can say some horror stories about it, but anytime that I've sent the drone away, I've probably sent like 4 or 5 away. I mean, I get it within 2 weeks. Like it's nice and quick, which is nice. And the repair is not that expensive at all. Like I had an Air 2S fall out of the sky. 2 of the arms broke off. The gimbal completely came separated from the drone itself, and it was like $120 to fix. I was like, really? That's it?
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That is not bad.
Mhm.
Bill, I think Bill thinks he's talking. He's muted.
No, I think you're wrong. I just wanted to say something really quick. I meant to introduce Caleb and Billy earlier. Caleb works with Tesla. Are you like a co-owner with her now, or how's it working? Okay, so he's a co-owner in Tesla drones. So he works here and does a lot of similar stuff. They do everything. They do 3D. They do a lot of the wide varied stuff like you. And then Billy has the company, isn't it? It's Atmos, isn't it?
It's just kind of like an LLC I made so I can file taxes. I don't promote it at all.
Wait a minute. Here we go. There we go.
The IRS
we
didn't
have
hear that.
We have a company called Tesla's Drones. It's not affiliated with Tesla at all. My partner's name is Archer Tesla, so we used her last name
Oh, cool.
because recognition is awesome.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, exactly.
So I have something that is it's not drone related right now, but it's going to be, I think.
Go ahead.
It's a huge thing. Have any of you guys heard of this Chat GPT?
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know.
So you've heard of like a chat bot, right? Like an AI that basically just responds to you, simple stuff usually. So OpenAI, the company that Elon made to work on AI, they released Chat GPT. It is absolutely insane. You can tell it to write you a book, write you a story. You can tell it to create you a prompt to make a perfect picture of something in a different AI program. You can tell it to write you that book as if it was a Renaissance professor from 1890. You can feed it your own style and tell it, hey, I would like you to write reports or my emails or my blogs in the style of me. Please add more stats and statistics and make it more professional. And it'll just do it in 10 seconds.
And why go to school?
Well, look, if that was
Well, you
around
got
when I was
other
in
questions to
high
ask.
school, if I was around, that'd be dangerous.
Yo,
No, it's absolutely insane.
You're muted.
I've tried it for all
No,
sorts
you were
of
talking about AI. That's
Yeah,
what I
is
was
that
wanting to do.
Is that
That's
it? Is
you,
that?
that's you in like 20 years, 30 years.
I hope the hell it's not me in 20 years.
No, but that was the whole premise behind the thing. What it was like, because you were talking about, I remember you talked about on Twitter about how you had to rework your entire workflow. And so that's where it all came into my head. And that's why I called it the Kyle mechanism. I wanted to come up with something creative to call it, instead of workflow, call it something different. So yeah,
I do need to redo my entire workflow. But yeah, hey, ChatGPT is incredible. Like it's
absolutely insane. You can use it to look up rules, algorithms, like anything that you need. And I think that pretty quickly here, we're going to be overtaken by a lot of this stuff where there's going to be something like ChatGPT that's going to be for engineering. It's going to make all sorts of new drone designs that are going to be super crazy that we never would have thought of.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be more efficient by a factor of 3 somehow.
Yeah, I mean, not only for that, but just anything in general too. I mean,
anything in general,
like not just drones.
insane.
So I have something interesting. Eddie Nunez actually asked ChatGPT who I was. He said, "Who's the content creator Billy Kyle?" And it's really impressive what this thing spit out. So it says, he says, "Who is the drone content creator Billy Kyle?" Then ChatGPT responds, "Billy Kyle is an American professional drone photographer, filmmaker, and social media influencer known for his creative aerial content. He is considered one of the leading drone content creators in the U.S. and has earned a considerable following on social media platforms." This is wrong. With over 1 million followers on Instagram. I don't have that many on Instagram. Kyle's drone filmed videos, time lapses, and aerial snaps have been featured on national television, digital campaigns, and on the cover of Billboard magazine, which Billboard magazine is not right either. But regardless, like the fact that it knows who someone, which in the grand scheme of things, as small as me is really impressive. Like you could ask it like who, like say Marquez Brownlee is, and it would be able to give you a perfect description of who he is because of how well known he is in the tech industry.
Dude, not only that, you could tell it like, please write me an autobiography from him. And it would be like, here you go, boom. And you could be like, you know what? It doesn't really sound quite right. Make the words more flowery. And boom, now it's talking about like with his fresh innovation. And you're just like, wow.
So it's a better Alexa.
So impressive. Yes, it
better
is.
Alexa.
It is.
There was a guy I was watching the other day, and he would literally he would find an issue that children are dealing with. He would go to ChatGPT and be like, please write me a children's book about this issue. Then he would pull a paragraph from it. He would take that paragraph and tell it, write me a prompt so that I can put this into Dreamweaver, whatever the AI image creator is. Yeah. He's like, make me a prompt so that I can make this picture perfectly in that. And it would feed him the prompt. He takes that, puts it in the imager. Then he would take those pictures, put them above the text, make a virtual book, send it to Amazon, and now Amazon is selling that book. And if you buy it, they'll print you a copy and send it to you.
Wow.
So he's making children's books in like an hour.
The one issue with, I think that though, is that it's sourcing like photos and artwork from the internet and merging them together. And you'll notice that in some of these pieces of art, like for example, I was using Lensa to make like these avatars of myself, and you'll notice in the background sometimes the signature of a person's artwork is still in there because it's pulling backgrounds and information from other people's art that it finds online. So there's a lot of issues surrounding that, like, hey, is this legal? Like, hey, are people going to be able to be compensated for this, you know?
Right. I think it all comes down to how unique it is. I mean, if you're not making it unique enough that there's still signatures in it, or you can like literally tell, hey, that's the cover of Metal Gear Solid, then like, no, that's not cool. But I mean, once it becomes something where you can't even tell. Now, this is an interesting thought with this whole controversy that's going on. I was watching a post develop the other day where this guy posted in Reddit/art, and they were like, that's AI, you can't post that here. And he was like, no, it's not. I've got my PNGs on Photoshop if you want me to prove it. And they were like, well, we don't believe you. And they banned him from the art page. And the dude even told him, the moderator was like, well, it looks too much like AI art, so you should change your style or people just won't believe it's you. And that's like, wow. So now we're being blamed for what the AI is creating from us.
Damn.
But what ends up the issue there ends up being, well, who's the problem there, AI or the people? And it's the people.
Yeah, it is.
Unironically. But it's going to change everything. It's going to be really interesting. I mean,
it is.
It'll get to a point where even if you're not a good artist, if you're making art, you'll probably sell for more just because AI makes so much of the other art or things like that.
True, right? Like, wow, this is actually made by a human.
Yeah, exactly. It'll go like the opposite direction. But I'm really curious to see where that goes when it actually that's the engineering world and things like that. Because you can already have it write you web pages. It can make you apps. You can be like, I want an app that does this. Give me the code, and it'll just write the code out.
Yep.
It's insane.
Amazing.
And it's also faster than Google. It does get some things wrong.
Yes.
Like you said, it doesn't get a lot of statistics right for some reason. But if you have an answer, a question, or a question for a psychologist, or like there's so much, you can just be like, hey, how do I do this? And it's like, here's 5 ways to do that. You don't have to search through all of Google's sponsored ads or even search for the right website. It's nuts.
But can it turn my smart lights on and off?
No, it can't. It doesn't have HomeKit or Google Home connectivity.
I bet it could write an app to do it for you, though.
Bob's going to go eat pizza because his wife invited him.
I'm going to take off. Thank you all.
Good seeing you, Bob.
I really had fun tonight. So
it was like I said, it didn't need to be. Oh, there's yours.
Got my doggo too here.
Yeah.
Can you tell he just woke up?
Oh, good. Yeah. Why'd you wake me up, Dad? What is
it's like, don't you normally edit now? Come on, man.
Yeah.
All right, have fun, Bob. We'll see ya.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Yeah, but yeah, we're at that point of the night where we can pretty much talk about anything. Like I wanted to say, I think I want to make sure. Let me make sure.
We already reached that point a long time ago, Bill.
Well, I like I said, this year's not really. It's more of a a professional quality drone, year. It's because we're expecting the Inspire 3, all these bigger, more industrial drones, maybe some gardening drones and stuff, but I haven't heard anything. There's no chatters or anything like that from anybody else in any way, shape, or form that I have heard. Anybody else?
Well, you covered the Ring drone already, and of course the Altel Max Enterprise drone will be showing up sooner than later, maybe.
Yes, I'm wearing my Yellowstone "Take them to the train station" T-shirt in honor.
No spoilers tonight, Bill.
No, today is Kevin Costner's birthday.
Okay.
So there's no. Go ahead. What?
M Drone 1 has got a point. Whatever happened to the Tello 2? I mean,
It was what was it they called it? The EDU is what it was. When they added more of the STEM
Education
stuff
drone.
to it. Yeah, they made it.
You can program it.
They turned it more into the Go ahead, Ron.
Bill, you were talking about he has older, DJI drones. That's my oldest DJI drone. I still have, Bill. I still got the Tello.
Yeah, I think I might have mine too laying around. No, you know what? I actually gave it to a friend. I don't have my Tello anymore. I gave it to a friend.
But I have this one. See, I've got the cover on it. But yeah, here we go. The cool one. Anybody remember? And this one had its own app too. Remember? It was the special one, and everybody had to have it, and it was ridiculously priced. Who's your favorite Marvel character, Billy?
Oh yeah.
Iron Man, baby.
Iron Man. Tell him.
I still have that one, and it had its own app too. Remember? Like you could do missions and shit with it. It was cool. I actually have 4 batteries. I have the little charger because my grandson got into it really heavy duty. And then it was kind of because we were going to give him the Mini 2 because his family's going to go back to the Philippines to visit this summer. So he's going to take the Mini 2 with him. But then he decided it was either going to be, he decided, nope. I want a new iPad. So I was like, look, grandson, I love you, but I'm not giving you a brand new iPad and a Mini 2.
I would take the drone over the Mini.
Well, he because he's got a little brother and a little sister, so he kind of needs his own little space because it used to be that the iPad had to be shared with everybody. So he got his time on it. So he's a little bit older. So he's like, nope, I want my own iPad so I don't have to share. And I gave my middle grandson, Liam, I gave him my Mini 4. So he's got his own iPad now too, and Sophia has her own. So every grandchild on that family has their own.
Mark Fisher is pointing out in the chat that Parrot had the Mambo drone, and the Mambo actually was probably a better drone than the Tello as far as flying.
Yeah, until they got the Tello to the Iron Man stage.
Okay.
And then I think it pretty much it's dialed in. Like even in low light here with the last software that they released for it, it'll sit here for the entire. I could put a fan on it and kind of push it, and it'll still kind of stay holding right in that area. It's like I said, the very last one, it's pretty stable.
I think I got an old school Tello one.
But the sad thing is the problem now is if you try, I had 2, and I had one that I tried to update it, and it hung, and then it bricked it. There was nothing I could do, and so I contacted Rise, and they were like, "What do you want? That drone's like 5 years old. Leave me alone." So I was like, "Yeah, you got a point." But I was just, is there anything I can do? Throw it in the trash. I was like, okay, yeah, I got you.
Well, you had Rise on the phone. You said, okay, it's 5 years old. Where's the Tello 2 at?
I don't think they really cared.
I don't think they have to make a Tello 2.
Yeah. No, they really don't have to. It's just like one of them things. But anyway, how much have you watched any of Yellowstone, Ron?
I watched the half season of Yellowstone. I've watched them all.
Okay. Have you watched any of Tulsa King?
I finally completed, but where is episode 10?
Wait a minute, Billy. Do you know what we're talking about?
Nah, I don't really watch TV.
Well, you know Sylvester Stallone, right?
Yep. How could I not? I live in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we all know Rocky from this part of the country.
That's what I was going to try to say. Okay, but he plays like a mob guy that actually went to prison for 20 years because he didn't squeal, right?
25 years.
25 years, you're right. And so because he didn't squeal. Okay, so then he comes out and they basically just shit on him. They're like, we want you to go way the hell over here in Tulsa and try to make a living. And he's like, Tulsa? What the? you know, and it literally he finds a way to make a living, right?
Hey, but Bill, go easy on Tulsa. Grumpy vloggers in the chat tonight.
Let me tell you what,
Don't say anything bad about Oklahoma.
My experience in Tulsa was pretty awesome.
Yeah, the show's awesome.
I was driving across the country to Arizona to meet up with Pilot Institute. I was going there to film a course with them, and I had to stop in Tulsa to charge my car because there's not many chargers in Oklahoma. So I had to stop there. But the only issue with it is like most of the chargers are like right off the highway, but this one was like off the beaten path. It was a couple miles off the highway, which is kind of a bummer. So I get off the highway, I make my way. Here it's at a Hard Rock casino. And I was like, oh, I'm getting a full charge while I'm here. I'm going to plug my car and let it go all the way up to 100. Spend some time inside.
Okay, that was something else I was going to bring up. How does that work? Like Brian, weren't we talking about it the other day? We were like, how long does it, like for us, it's long enough to take a piss, get some nabs and a pop, fill up the gas tank, and then you're on the road again. Mm-hmm. How long do you end up having to spend off the road before you can move again?
So like driving from Philly to Florida, I had to make 5 charging stops on the way down. On the way back, I made a lot more stops because of my tire. But on the way down, it was 5 stops. And you pretty much have to charge for like 15 minutes for each of those stops. And then you're back on the road. So when I put in my end address, like let's say I'm leaving from Philly and I put in Cape Canaveral, it will tell me all of the spots I have to stop and charge and how long I have to stop at each spot and charge for. And again, like it was pretty much like 15 minutes that I stopped each time. So I'd pull in, I'd charge, just like you said, I'd run in, use the bathroom, grab some food, get back, organize some stuff in my car, and then I'm back on the road.
That's like riding with my wife. She's telling me where to stop.
Well, the one thing that's a little bit annoying is like they have different levels of chargers. So Tesla, it only routes you to Tesla chargers because it knows where those chargers are. But they have like the version 2 and the version 3 chargers. And sometimes like where there's a big influx of people, they'll actually have a version 2 charger. And then like right around the corner, there's a totally different charger that's brand new. That's a version 3 charger. So you get a much faster charging speed at the newer generation chargers, but sometimes it'll automatically route you to the slower one, like right around the corner. And it doesn't prioritize, you know, like a faster charger. So usually I'll set up the route on my own because I want to make sure I prioritize the faster chargers. And I'll try to find chargers that are near like, you know, a Starbucks or something. Cause sometimes you'll pull into a charger and it's in the middle of nowhere at like a Dairy Queen. And it's like, I don't want anything from here. And you just end up sitting there while it charges. So I try to choose chargers that are in malls or populated areas.
Hey, Billy, I saw you had a post on Instagram about you were at a Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
In the Buc-ee's in Texas, they're putting 10 to 30 of those Tesla EV chargers in their stations now.
Yes, I think that most of the Buc-ee's have them. I know that there's one in Crossville, Tennessee, and that's an annoying charger to stop at because it's at a winery. You literally can't do anything. You literally pull in and you like charge. I'm sitting there waiting to be able to drive because there's nothing to do. But the Buc-ee's across the highway on the other side going, I guess that's going eastbound. They're putting chargers there, which is nice. They just finished up the largest charger out in California. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's 98 stalls. It's a 98 stall charger out in California, which is
for Buc-ee's. It's genius because I mean, you're going to spend half hour to an hour in that store anyway.
Oh yeah. You know, it'll tell you in the app, it'll be like, 14 minutes left until you can continue your trip. And like, I'll hit that by the time I get to the bathroom because I've stopped at so many things, you know, like I love that store though.
Well, I've got to do some personal things or my wife will neuter me. So anyway, being responsible. And I know Ron's got some things he's got to do. I'm sure Caleb's got some stuff he's got to do. I'm very glad that Brian was able to join us tonight. And I'm, you know, as always, it's great to have Billy on here because he was with me the first one. He was on the very first one along with Dan. For having me. And then it was really cool. I was glad to not just talk about drones tonight, to talk about a little bit of everything, because like I said, it's going to be a wide open year and people don't understand Coast to Coast Drones is just a name. I love taking photos. I love making videos. So the shows, you know, the channel, everything is not just strictly about drones. It's anything and everything that involves that and enhances that and has to do with that.
Preach.
So, you know, we're always into that kind of stuff. Plus, I just like talking about little odds and ends like collecting and stuff too, because we don't always fly drones. We do some other stuff too, and it's always nice to know those things as well. So I'm going to go around the room, let everybody say their piece if they got anything upcoming, any word they'd like to get out to the people, and then we will call it an evening. I will begin with Brian from PMAX Aerial Visuals.
Nothing happening on my end until I get my internet fixed. And that's not going to happen because now I'm in an income flux. So when you start drawing Social Security, everything changes because now I'm on a fixed income. Oh, well.
And over to Ron.
Thanks for having me on tonight, Bill, and thanks for our special guest, Billy Kyle, for joining us tonight. It was a good show, and I want to give a special thanks to everybody that helped support Drone Nation get over the 1,000K sub. Recently.
Yeah, man, congrats.
And what about Ron? What about how many thousands of subscribers does the Ron Brown channel have?
Well, we're at about 35, 36. We're working our way up to 4 over there.
Nice.
And I have about 3 or 4 other channels too, but they're not doing that good.
Well, I thought that you just break the 1,000 on your channel too, or
no, I've been over 1,000 on my channel for years.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I was like, you said something. Oh, you were talking about the Drone Nation. Is that happened? That happened Monday night when you were watching the football game. So fantastic! Congratulations on that. And then I'm going to go over next to Caleb. See what's up with him.
Hello, everybody. It was a good show, you guys. Thanks for having me again, Bill, of course. And it was nice meeting you, Billy. Other than that,
too.
I'm Caleb of Tesla's Drones. Check out teslasdrones.com if you need any drone work done. And that's about it. We got lots of cool stuff coming up on the YouTube, probably in 2 or 3 weeks. So check back at Tesla's Drones YouTube.
And then Mr. Kyle.
Yeah, hey, thank you for having me on. I wish that we could talk more drones, but like you said, I think it's going to be the year of a dull drone release schedule. So hopefully DJI can surprise us. Hopefully SKYDIO can surprise us, because I think that the one thing that's going to make new drones come out is new drones from other manufacturers, so that DJI finally feels like they have some competition.
Yep. Well, that's very cool, and I'm glad to have everybody here. But before everybody takes off, I've been trying to maintain the Star Trek theme. And as I've mentioned before, Caleb kind of has that OG Klingon look from the original series. So I figured FPV pilots would be Klingons. So I'm going to try to get some people together, and we'll have a Klingon, because if y'all have not noticed, I've had the Klingons kind of trailing the Enterprise for a while now. So they've kind of got to overtake the people. So the FPV pilots will be next week's guests, and I'm going to get some people together. So something tells me next week might be kind of randy. So you might want to come in and check it out next week, because it's probably going to be wild. There's probably going to be some filth and flying around besides the, nitro and whatever batteries going on. So with that being said, please join us each and every Wednesday from the Pacific Northwest and wherever you may be when you're watching. Live long and prosper. We'll see you next week.